Yo, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, sticking to the theme of the draft, I'm going to be ranking each of the last 10 number 1 picks in the NFL draft. Now, quick disclaimer before I start the video, all 10 of these players in the last 10 years of the draft, none of them have really been busts. So don't take this ranking as like the players lower in this ranking are bad. All of these players have turned out to be solid players in the NFL, but I'm just going to be ranking them from worst, I guess, to best, just based on how their NFL career has gone so far. And yeah, without further ado, don't forget to subscribe. Let's go ahead and get to the video. Alright, so Joe Burrow is a tough one to rank because he spent obviously the least amount of time in the NFL. Only one season, and that one season was cut short due to his big knee injury that had him out for the rest of the season against Washington. Obviously, the hype for Joe Burrow coming into the NFL was warranted, though. Coming out of college, he put together what many, myself included, believe was the greatest season of all time. During his senior year at LSU, 15-0, national championship, broke the single-season touchdown record, and won the Heisman Trophy by a record margin. In his only NFL season, this past season, Burrow showed flashes of brilliance, but with the Bengals' deficient offensive line, it kept Burrow from showing how good he can really be, and eventually led to him suffering the injury that I mentioned earlier that had him out for the rest of the season. He put up 2,688 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, which isn't bad, especially considering what he had to work with on that team, especially with the O-line. Going forward, though, looking at Joe Burrow and his talent, his potential, and just his attitude, he has the potential to be great. And I think if the Bengals can protect him and just don't do what the Bengals typically do, which just honestly just in general be dumb, then I think Joe Burrow can be a great player in the NFL, but we'll have to see what happens the rest of his career. Jadeveon Clowney came into the NFL as one of the most hyped prospects of all time. He was the number 1 player in the country in high school, coming out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, and put together a dominant career at the college level with many highlight plays and was just an absolute force in the SEC during a great run by South Carolina. At the NFL Combine, Clowney ran a ridiculous 4.53 40-yard dash, which was the best among linemen, and even USA Today called him by far the most freakish physical specimen in the draft. But unfortunately for Clowney, even though he's been solid, the absolute amazing hype that he had never quite translated to the NFL. He's been a decent player, like I said, throughout his career, and he's made 2 Pro Bowls in 2016 and 2017, but was never the 4th that many expected him to be. This past season, he's coming off a rough year with the Titans, where he played just 8 games and did not have a sack all season. Overall, Clowney's going to go down as a solid player, and definitely not a bust, I would say. None of these players are busts, but never quite lived up to the hype coming out of college, so for this list, I'm going to rank him at number 9. Coming into the 2015 season with a 26-1 college record as a starter and a sophomore season that included both a Heisman Trophy and a national championship, Jameis Winston's name was surrounded with plenty of hype going into the draft, but not without some concern. While Winston wasn't putting up these crazy numbers in the field, he had his fair share of off-the-field controversies, from accusations of sexual assault to being caught stealing crab's legs in an incident where Winston claimed he, quote, forgot to pay. Winston entered the league with his fair share of off-the-field controversy. Despite the concerns, Winston was still drafted number 1 by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And with the Bucs, Winston put up some good numbers, but could never get over the hump and take the Bucs to the playoffs. His best season came in 2019, where Winston threw for 5,000 yards and 33 touchdowns, but with those 33 touchdowns came 30 interceptions. After the 2019 season, Winston signed with the Saints, where he was a backup for Drew Brees this past year. When Brees now retired, he will compete for a starting job this season. Between him and Taysom Hill, I think it'll be interesting to see which one comes through. So far, Winston has shown his potential throughout his career, but his decision-making, as I mentioned before, 30 interceptions especially, has definitely held him back from the talent and the talented player that I think he can be. However, he's only 27 years old and still has plenty of time to improve, but for now, with what he's proved, number 8 feels about right. Kyler Murray graduated Allen High School in Texas, one of the most talented and decorated high school athletes we've ever seen. Murray left Allen with a 42-win record as a starter during his career, just flat out insane. Won 3 state championships in a row and was ranked by ESPN as the number 1 dual threat quarterback in his class. Murray was also a highly touted baseball prospect, and he became the first player ever to be selected to the Under Armour All-American Games in both football and baseball. Murray would initially sign with Texas A&M, but would really thrive after he transferred to Oklahoma. He spent a season as the backup to Baker Mayfield, but after that season, Murray went off during the 2018 season, putting up over 4,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing, leading him to a Heisman Trophy. Despite some concerns about his size going into the NFL draft, coming in only 5'10", Murray was selected number 1 in the draft by the Arizona Cardinals. In his first 2 seasons, Murray delivered for the Cardinals, winning Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2019 and putting together another very solid season in 2020. With Arizona showing that they're committed to building around him, it will be interesting to see how the rest of his career turns out. Despite having to walk on at Texas Tech for his freshman season, Baker Mayfield would go on to have one of the best college careers we've seen in recent history. After starting his career as a walk-on at Tech in 2013, Mayfield transferred to Oklahoma where he would become a star after winning the starting job in 2015. Mayfield put together 3 dominant seasons for Oklahoma, capped off by his Heisman winning season in 2017. Mayfield's numbers throughout college were astounding, putting up 131 career touchdowns and over 14,000 passing yards. But still, going into the draft, he had his concerns over character, as seen through many instances throughout his 2017 season. Despite these concerns, Mayfield was still drafted number 1 by the Browns, and so far he's had a solid NFL career. He's had some rough spots, especially during his second season where he had issues with decision making, throwing 21 interceptions, and some of his character flaws were still showing up throughout that season as well. But looking at this past season, Mayfield has shown that he's really grown as a leader and as a player, throwing 26 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions, and leading the Browns to their first playoff appearance since 2002 and their first playoff win since 1994. So far, Baker Mayfield is looking very promising, especially after last season, and for now, I'll put him at number 6. Eric Fisher came out of high school as just a 2-star recruit before signing to play tackle at Central Michigan in 2009. His lack of recruitment mainly stemmed from his size, only weighing 225 pounds as a high school senior, making him massively undersized for a position on the offensive line. Fisher was named a first-team All-American in his senior season at Central Michigan and was considered among the best offensive linemen and just best overall players in the 2013 draft. Fisher would be drafted number 1 by the Kansas City Chiefs and has put together a very solid NFL career to this point. Looking at his career, Fisher is a 2-time Pro Bowler with selections in 2018 and 2020, and obviously won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs in 2019. Unfortunately for Fisher, a torn Achilles kept him out of the Super Bowl this past season, a season in which Fisher was instrumental in protecting Mahomes, and as you could see from that game, without Fisher and without much of the offensive linemen, Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense was not nearly the same it had been the rest of the season. Fisher was released by the Chiefs on March 11th of this year, and currently a free agent looking for a new team. To this point in his NFL career, Fisher has put together a very solid career, especially looking at his 2 Pro Bowl selections, and is the only player on this list to have won a Super Bowl. Jared Goff signed with Cal in 2013 as a 4-star prospect coming out of Kenfield, California. Goff made an instant impact at Cal, winning the starting job as a freshman and starting all 12 games. Despite the Bears having a abysmal 1-11 record, Goff still had a decent season in his freshman year and had plenty to build on going into the rest of his college career. Goff really came on during his sophomore season, throwing for nearly 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns, leading to him entering his junior season in 2015 as the number 1 ranked quarterback in the 2016 draft by Mel Kiper. Goff did not disappoint during that season, throwing for over 4,700 yards and 43 touchdowns, earning a first-team All-Pac-12 honors, and gave him the number 1 pick in the 2016 draft by the Rams. Goff had a rough rookie season with the Rams, only making 7 starts and throwing 5 touchdowns to go along with 7 interceptions, but he began to thrive in year 2 with the arrival of Sean McVay in the Rams organization. Goff had his best season in 2018, throwing for over 4,600 yards and 32 touchdowns and led the Rams to the Super Bowl, but unfortunately lost to the Patriots in what I believe is the worst Super Bowl of my lifetime. After the 2020 season, Goff was traded to the Lions. I'm interested to see how he does in Detroit, in that kind of organization. Overall, Goff has put together a very solid NFL career, appearing in 2 Pro Bowls over that time, having multiple good seasons, being a valuable piece of the LA Rams. And yeah, plenty of time to achieve more in his career, only being 26, and I'm interested to see how he does. Andrew Luck graduated Stratford High School in Houston as a highly touted prospect, ranked by rivals as the number 4 pro-style quarterback in his class. Luck would sign with Stanford and went on to have a spectacular college career, with some even believing that he was robbed of the Heisman Trophy after his junior season in 2011. Luck finished his junior season with over 3,500 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and an insane 71.3 completion percentage. Luck was unanimously projected to be the number 1 pick in the 2012 draft, and the Colts made that come through, taking him with the first pick. Luck would go on to have a very successful NFL career, and it was a shock to many when he announced his retirement at the young age of 29, right before the 2019 season. Luck finished his career as a 4-time Pro Bowler, led the NFL in passing touchdowns in 2014, broke the rookie record for passing yards, and won the Comeback Player of the Year in 2018. Luck was everything the Colts could have asked for, but there will forever be questions about what he could have achieved if he hadn't retired at such a young age. Myles Garrett was a generational athletic talent in high school, starring in football, basketball, and track. Garrett was the second best ranked player in the country coming out of high school and was signed with Texas A&M in 2014. At Texas A&M, Garrett was an absolute beast, dominating college football for 3 seasons. He left A&M as a 2-time All-American and registered an insane 31 sacks throughout his 3-year career. This would lead to Garrett being taken number 1 in the NFL draft by the Cleveland Browns, and many fans had high hopes for him after putting up ridiculous numbers at the Combine, with a 40 time of 4.64 and an insane 41-inch vertical for a defensive lineman. Garrett's NFL career has been spectacular so far as well, emerging as one of the most feared edge rushers in the league. In just 4 short seasons with the Browns, Garrett has already recorded 42.5 sacks and is already a 2-time Pro Bowler. At the young age of 25, Garrett still has plenty of time to develop and become, in my opinion, the best number 1 pick in recent history. Where do I even begin? Cam Newton's path to the NFL and NFL stardom is a story that you could make a movie about. From starting his college career backing up Tim Tebow and winning a national championship at Florida, to winning both a Heisman Trophy and another national championship at Auburn, Cam Newton has seen it all. Cam Newton's 2010 season at Auburn is one I'll never forget, and he's still going to go down as one of my favorite college players of all time to watch as a kid. Newton would go on to be taken number 1 by the Panthers in 2011, where he instantly became a star. Newton was the Rookie of the Year at the end of the 2011 season and broke the NFL record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. Newton would continue to put up impressive numbers, and in 2015 he won the NFL MVP after putting up a career-high 35 passing touchdowns to go along with another 10 rushing touchdowns. Newton also led the Panthers to a 15-1 regular season record that season, and the team's first Super Bowl appearance since 2003. Unfortunately though, his team lost to the Broncos in Peyton Manning's final game. Newton would eventually move on for the Panthers after the 2019 season to his current team, the New England Patriots. The last couple of seasons have been rough for Newton, but he's still one of the best quarterbacks of this decade and the only player on this list to win an MVP. Newton has more than what it takes to turn things around in his career and get back to the star that he truly is, and it'll be interesting to see what him and Bill Belichick and the rest of the Patriots can do this season, especially looking at all of the players they've signed during the offseason. Yo, thank y'all so much for watching. Real quick, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who messed with my last video. Views, likes, everything. That video just completely blew every other video out of my channel out of the water. Just insane support, so please keep that up. I appreciate it so much. If you're watching this video, don't forget to subscribe, drop a like. It really helps me grow and to make more content like this. And last but not least, let me know what you thought of the list. Let me know who your favorite number 1 picks were and if I got anything wrong on that list. But anyway, with that being said, thank y'all so much for watching, and until next time, Godspeed.